You're not thinking your own thoughts. That's not a metaphor. It's a strategy. The powerful have mastered one psychological trick to control your beliefs without you even knowing. This is Power Play's network, where we decode the real strategies behind influence, domination, and control. Subscribe now and learn how power really works. Today, we're exposing a weapon more powerful than armies or laws. It's called mind framing, and once you understand it, you'll start seeing it everywhere. Mind framing is the subtle, powerful art of shaping how others interpret reality, often without them even realizing it's happening. It's not about manipulation in the obvious sense, or forcing someone to accept your point of view. Instead, it's about gently guiding the way people see a situation, an idea, or even themselves, by providing a new perspective, a frame, through which everything else is filtered. When you master mind framing, you don't have to argue or convince. You simply set the stage and let others draw their own conclusions, often arriving exactly where you hoped they would. Think of it like handing someone a pair of glasses with a specific tint. They see the world differently, but they believe it's their own vision. You don't force people to believe something. You give them a frame, a context, a story, a way of looking at things, and they end up convincing themselves, often more deeply than if you'd tried to persuade them directly. Take Napoleon, for example. He was a master of mind framing. He didn't just call himself a king or demand loyalty through brute force. Instead, he crafted a narrative, a frame that made people see him as something more. A symbol, a leader, chosen by destiny. When Napoleon crowned himself Emperor of the French, he wasn't just taking a title. He was sending a message. He wasn't the Emperor of France, a land or a territory ruled by tradition. He was the Emperor of the French, of the people themselves. This subtle shift in framing made all the difference. By framing himself as the people's emperor, Napoleon made it seem as if he was chosen by the will of the masses, not just by his own ambition. It made his rule look not only legitimate, but inevitable, almost as if it was the natural order of things. That's the essence of framing. You don't change the facts. You change the lens through which those facts are seen. Suddenly, everything looks different, and people's beliefs shift without them even noticing the process. When you master mind framing, you have the power to influence not just opinions, but the very way people experience reality. Change the lens, and you change the world they see, and ultimately, the beliefs they hold. Let's dive into some real-world examples of mind framing. How powerful people shape the way we see their actions. Take Elon Musk, for instance. He doesn't just launch rockets or build electric cars. He frames his work as a mission to save humanity itself. Every time he speaks, he talks about colonizing Mars, making life multiplanetary, and ensuring the survival of our species. This isn't just business. It's a grand, almost heroic quest. So, when Tesla misses deadlines or a SpaceX rocket explodes in a fiery spectacle, people don't just see failure. They see a necessary step in a much bigger story. Supporters and fans forgive him, even cheer him on, because they believe they're witnessing history in the making. The setbacks become part of the legend, not stains on his record. The frame Musk creates isn't about failure at all. It's about the cost of pursuing an epic mission. Every mistake is reframed as a lesson, every explosion as a badge of courage. The narrative is so strong that even his critics end up talking about his vision, not just his mistakes. Now let's look at Vladimir Putin, a master of reframing on the world stage. Putin doesn't say he's invading other countries. Instead, he claims he's defending Russia's interests, protecting his people, and standing up to foreign threats. His speeches are filled with words like protection, security, and defense. When Russia moved into Crimea, the official story wasn't about aggression. It was about defending Russian-speaking citizens from danger. In Ukraine, he frames military action as a response to NATO's expansion, not as an act of war. The narrative is always about safeguarding, never about attacking. By framing his aggression as protection, Putin convinces many people, both inside and outside Russia, that he's the hero, not the villain. The power of this frame is so strong that millions accept his version of events, even when the facts suggest otherwise. It's a classic example of how mind framing can shape public opinion and even rewrite history. And then there's Cleopatra, the queen of the seduction frame. She didn't just rule Egypt, she ruled hearts and minds. Cleopatra understood that power wasn't just about armies or gold. It was about perception, allure, and mystique. Cleopatra never openly asked for power. Instead, she presented herself as humble, almost vulnerable, in the royal court. But this humility was a calculated move, a way to draw people in, to make them underestimate her, and then surprise them with her brilliance. At the same time, Cleopatra crafted an image of herself as divine, more than just a queen, but a living goddess. She used elaborate jewelry, incense, and rituals to create an aura of otherworldly power. People didn't just see a ruler, they saw a legend. When she met Julius Caesar, she didn't just walk into the room. She arrived rolled up in a rug, emerging in a cloud of perfume and gold, dazzling everyone present. This wasn't just a meeting, it was a performance, a statement. Caesar didn't stand a chance. He was swept up in her frame, captivated by her presence. Because for Cleopatra, the frame wasn't about love or romance, it was about destiny. She made everyone around her believe that being with her was fate, that history itself was unfolding before their eyes. That's the true power of mind framing. It doesn't just change opinions, it changes reality. This isn't just history. Mind framing isn't reserved for the powerful or the famous. It's a tool that anyone can use, right now, in everyday life. The same strategies that shaped empires and changed the course of nations can help you shape your own path, starting today. You can use mind framing right now. Whether you're a student, a professional, or just someone looking to improve your relationships, mind framing gives you the power to influence how others see you and how you see yourself. It's about taking control of the narrative in any situation. Let's say you have an interview. Frame yourself as the missing piece of the puzzle. Instead of just listing your skills, show how you complete the team, how your unique perspective fills a gap they didn't even know they had. This subtle shift can make you stand out from every other candidate. If you're making a sales pitch, frame the client's current strategy as risky, and yours as safe evolution. Don't just sell a product. Reframe the conversation so your solution feels like the natural next step, the obvious choice for anyone who wants to avoid unnecessary risk and move forward with confidence. And in a conflict, frame it as a misunderstanding instead of a fight, and people instantly lower their guard. When you reframe a heated argument as a simple miscommunication, you invite empathy and understanding, making it easier to find common ground and resolve issues peacefully. Framing isn't manipulation. It's choosing the story people use to explain their reality. Every situation is open to interpretation, and mind framing lets you guide that interpretation in a positive, constructive direction. It's about storytelling, crafting the narrative that leads to the best possible outcome for everyone involved. And honestly, whoever controls that story controls the outcome. When you master mind framing, you're not just reacting to the world, you're actively shaping it, one story at a time. The most powerful weapon on Earth is the story we believe. That's power play number 7. Frame the world, win the war. Comment below, which figure used this best? Elon Musk, Putin, or Cleopatra? Subscribe if you're ready to see the world through the lens of power. This is Power Plays Network. Power is a game. Learn the rules, then bend them.